Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Atma Podcast, where we give you the tips, tools, and strategies you need to be successful. My name is Brian, and I'm the VP of Advent Trinity Marketing Agency, and today we're going to be talking about social media game plan for 2022. I just had a webinar. I think it was yesterday. I can't remember. These days start to get, when you work as much as we do, these days just start to intertwine. But we just did a webinar. We wanted to do a webinar and a podcast about social media, and we're going to tell you a little bit about why. But I'm doing this solo, but I have Rolando, of course, as my guest today. Say hello, Rolando.
Hey, what's up, guys?
So, we're talking about social media game plan for 2022. It's changing like crazy. Like crazy. We're going to talk about what's going on. It's been hectic, and everybody knows how hectic it's been because of the things that have happened during election and all that. There's mumbo jumbo with Facebook changing its name and creating an umbrella, that kind of stuff. So it's getting really crazy. So what is all about with social media, we're going to talk about here today. But before we do, we have to say hello. We have to say thank you to our sponsors, Nuvodesk Coworking. As you know, is a collaborative area, office spaces, meeting rooms, you name it. It is a co-working space meant for entrepreneurs to think big and grow their companies. So whether you're needing an office space or you're needing meeting rooms or even conference rooms, a virtual mailbox, you name it. Wherever you're at with your business, visit nuvodesk.com so they can give you a free day pass. And our second sponsor, of course, is Southwest Restaurant Equipment. If you're a restaurant owner and you're needing to change out that restaurant equipment, visit swrequipment.com. Now, let's get into today's show because I think everybody has. It's funny, every time I do a webinar, I'll do a webinar about websites and nobody shows up. I do a webinar about social media and it's like everybody shows up. Yeah, it's so powerful. It's such a powerful topic, and it's also a controversial topic as well, right, Rolando?
Yes.
So, have you? I'm a question, Rolando. Have you heard about what's going on with all the social media stuff?
I have no idea. I just know there's like a lot of things changing. I follow a lot of people that are in marketing on social media, and like they're always like changing or like talking about like all the changes and stuff, especially about Facebook, like the whole rebranding thing.
Yeah. So it's not even. It's funny because Facebook. They said it was a rebranding. It's not really a rebranding if you think about it. So what they did was they created this umbrella. It's called Meta. Okay, and they're focusing on virtual reality. Have you ever watched the movie Player One?
Yeah, whenever I saw the Meta announcement, that's like the whole thing I was thinking about, just Ready Player One.
Yeah, that's literally, if you haven't seen Ready Player One, you got to go see it. That's literally. So basically, we're just going to live in a virtual world.
That's the future.
So we're going to do, I was looking into it, and they're like, yeah, you can meet clients in this virtual world and build communities in this virtual world. It's like we're not even going to have an actual world. We're going to be living in the Matrix.
Hey, I like the Matrix, so.
But then they're not going to tell what's real and what's not at that point, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But, I'm not going to get into the politics and this conspiracy theories of social media. What I am going to talk about today is what you need to know about if you're a business owner. And even though you got all these crazy changes going on social media, what you need to know to adapt. And everybody's like, I hate the word adapt. Hey, buddy, if you're in this world of business in 2022, that's all you need to know. You're going to be changing things left and right from year after year. The technology is changing every single day, and it's not going to stay the same ever. Just in the span of this time of 3 years, I've changed strategies. I think about 5 or 6 times for clients. It's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like if you're a business owner and if you don't adapt, then you're pretty much done. Like you gotta. Like you said, technology is changing. So if you don't change with it, you're done.
Right. So so let's talk about that. So in the summer. Actually last summer we had a lot of Google hits, right? A lot of website hits. This year, just in the last week, how many you've heard of? You've been in the back group. We signed up 4 clients. You know where they all came from?
Where?
Social media.
See, social media is king.
Yeah, it is king.
To a certain extent.
Oh yeah. Hold on a second.
You're like, wait a minute.
Wait a second. Don't be telling our viewers that. No, it's just social media is such a big portion to the marketing that people just don't realize how big of an influence it is. You have to have all these moving parts. You have to have Google. You have to have social media in place. But let's talk about social media. So our clients came from Facebook. So Facebook isn't going anywhere, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. But what you really do need to do is actually start to adapt to the new softwares that are out there and platforms that are out there. But let's talk about these case studies. So not only did we sign up 4 clients this past week, all strictly social media. You got Nuvodesk Co-working. We do the marketing here at Nuvodesk as well, right? And they went from like 20% occupancy to 60% occupancy. Have you seen a lot more people in these offices?
Yeah, there's like a lot of new faces.
Well, that's because we're doing the right things, right? The marketing is working. And a lot of it came from, hey, I saw you on social media, then I went to Google. So once again, I'm not neglecting that, social media is I'm not saying social media is king. What I'm saying is you got to have all these parts. You have to have social media. You have to have Google. You have to have all these moving parts in marketing you have to be everywhere. And that's what I said in the webinar. You have to be everywhere. Whether they're Googling you, whether they're searching you on Yelp, Facebook, whether they see you at the chamber, whether they see you billboards, whether they see you on TV. I mean, you have to brainwash these people. And we talked about this in our podcast. Brainwash them until they only think of you when it comes to your service and products. And so, Nuvodesk increased. So we have another client, BFF Asian Grill and Sports Bar. They tripled their business. And it's funny, in the first webinar I had a client that wanted to shut off their social media, and I didn't let them. Good thing I didn't let them. So pre-COVID, right? During COVID, they were like, I need to shut down social media. Don't do that. I reduced the cost and helped them out and worked with him. This year, they've tripled their revenue, okay? And I'll tell you right now, revenue is not the problem. It's employees, right? We all know what's going on in the restaurant industry. A few restaurants, it's not that they can't afford employees, it's that employees just don't want to come work. It's kind of crazy. So that's what's going on if you think about it, right? What's your experience with the restaurants right now?
I mean, every time like I go somewhere to go pick up an order, like it's the same thing, just signs saying now hiring, now hiring. Like you can't not go to a restaurant and not see a now hiring sign.
Right, and that's just one thing that we just really can't just look into. Can't solve that problem. I mean, can we promote it on social media and stuff like that? But it's like, well, that's just one of those things that we can help with revenue, but employment that's a different monster in itself.
Yeah, I feel like we could go down a rabbit hole talking about that.
Yeah, no, that's a different topic for a different day. So let's talk about social media customer journey, right? So we talked about. Facebook, and we talked about Twitter, and we talked about LinkedIn and Instagram and what's going on with those. So a lot of people don't understand the journey, and that's the problem. They know about these platforms, and they know that I need to be on those platforms. But what they don't understand is how the process works, right? And that process is pretty simple. It's I think we talked about it last podcast too. It's or some other podcast, I can't remember. But the first thing that you gotta do is become aware, right? They become aware of your business, and then they start to engage with the business. Okay, so once they become aware, they're like, oh yeah, okay, Avid Trinity, I'm starting to see them everywhere. You know what? Like their page. So we start liking the page. I like their content. Let me follow them. So that's engagement, right? They're clicking, click, click, click. That's engagement. If they click on something, they're engaging. So you have the awareness, and you use social media for awareness, and then you use them to start engaging. Eventually, they're going to convert. I had this guy that said he was following our page for over a year, and it's until this moment that he has converted into a paying client. That's how long? 1 year. And that's the thing about business owners, is like, we planted so many seeds. And that's what social media, that's what marketing is all about, is planting those seeds. And then eventually you reap the reward. But it takes time. It's not instant. And a lot of business owners, that's what they want. They want that instant gratuity. And unfortunately, it just doesn't work like that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, Rolando's over here like, there's so many people here today.
I know, man. I gotta like remind myself to focus. Just a lot of people just walking around.
It's the social media marketing. I'm telling you, it's packed up in here now.
Yeah, exactly. Like you mentioned the word social media, and people are just walking around. They're like, social media, huh?
Exactly. So I do want to go and I want to talk about these 2022 trends. There's a blog that Leslie Radford, she shared with us. She's been doing a lot of research on social media. But HubSpot, our partner, our CRM partner, HubSpot, they came out with this report. Okay, this came out with this report, and it talks about what's going on in 2022 and what we need to be aware of, right? And I found it interesting, very interesting. So one of the things that they talked about was TikTok. Have you been using TikTok, Rolando?
Dude, don't get me started on TikTok. I'll like get on there and be like, okay, I'll spend like a minute on here. Before I know it, I'm like 30 minutes in. I'm just watching random videos.
There you go. See, if it works on Rolando, it works on everyone. So TikTok is like this growing powerhouse that cannot be stopped. And a lot of people don't realize that, right? And so you look at the numbers of TikTok in 2021 to 2022. So from the time span of the controversy in 2021 to 2022, it's had over 3 billion global downloads.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
So 3 billion 3 billion global downloads since 2021. That is and it's increased by 61% year over year. That is a lot of downloads, guys. And you know what it is? And this report talks about it. It's authentic consumer content. That's what it is. No sugarcoating, no I mean, they got some commercials, but it's all kind of like authentic. Like you want to be funny, you want to do things that are hilarious and you know that gets people attention to stop what they're doing and spend an hour on TikTok, right? Just watching random videos. You've got the demographic, the conversations about by age group. 56.3% is from the ages of 25 to 34. 36.6% is 18 to 24, and then 4.8% is 35 to 44. So there's some people on here. It's not just it's mainly millennials, you know, because 25 to 34, right? Mm-hmm. But you got Gen Z definitely holds the greatest interest around the topic. So it's growing big time. And so this report also talks about advertising, which is extremely important to the business owners now, right? Because they're like, what's going on with advertising? Well, and my Google's not working as good as it was, and it's not. And by the way, and because of this, you're going to have to spend more on Google. It's just period. The demand to spend more on search engines has gone up, and here's why. It has one to do with the algorithms of Google, which I'm not going to talk about because I just don't agree with what they're doing. And but number two, cookies. So before it was like you could track people using cookies. Well, people don't like being tracked, right?
Yeah, I wonder why.
They want some privacy, right? So there is going to come an age where it's cookieless world. And what does cookieless world mean? No, I'm not talking about the chocolate chip or the macadamia nut, okay? I am talking about tracking people through the website. And here's what's going to happen. Because it's going to be cookieless, you're going to have to get more creative when it comes to content. You're going to have to get more strategic when it comes to pay-per-click. You're going to have to get way more creative of what you're doing on the advertising world. And because of this, when we're talking about content, you're going to have to develop things that attract somebody's attention faster because you're not going to be able to retarget them as you were before, right? You got to find and there is strategies on how to do this. You've got to get them to subscribe because that's the only way you're going to be able to retarget them is you got to get them to subscribe to your business, whether that's on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the website, email list. You've got to get them to subscribe. But you've got to lead them to that. You've got to convince them that you've got to like my page. So no longer is it, oh, they visited my page. Whew. Yeah, I'm going to track them down. No longer is it going to do that. And that's kind of like the strategies that we're thinking. And, you know, that's why we've actually increased our budget drastically on social media. And guess what? It's worked. It's worked. So social selling will simplify the customer journey. We talked about that in the webinar. Honestly, to be honest with you, this right here, I don't agree with, because the customer journey is the customer journey. If you're already doing it, it will kind of work the same. You know, if you're focused on awareness, engagement, subscription, and conversion, you're okay. So you've got awareness, you've got the engagement, and then lead generation, and then conversion. That's kind of like the 4 things that you got to focus on. If you're focusing on that and focusing on where your customers are in that, are they in the awareness stage? Are they engaging but they haven't subscribed? They haven't became a lead yet, or they converted, right? If you're focused on those stages, you should be good to go. Let's see what's else in this report. Why don't we? Post-pandemic content will shape the consumer needs. That's true. Absolutely true. In fact, co-working here, like Nuvidesk co-working, what I've come to find is we do have a mixture of employees and business owners. But here's a weird thing. Most of the people that are here are actually the executives. And if they are workers, they're not here with their bosses. That's actually what has happened in this industry, in this world, actually, because of the remote working. So some people can remote work and some people can't. I mean, it's just, and then if they are offices, they're most likely the executives. Okay, they're the ones that are managing the rest of the workers that are working from remote. So that's a prime example of what's going on about post pandemic content. So Nuvidesk, you know, we should be focused on those 2 tiers now, right? Workers that are working from home, or those who are executive, and we should be shooting commercials. And so if you're a part of this team and you're listening to this, that's kind of what we got to do. Let's see what else is in here. So yeah, this is a big report, and if you want this report, just go to HubSpot and search 2022 trends powered by consumers. 2022 trends powered by consumers. Omni-channel engagement will change the way consumers engage the social media. So, is everybody a fan of Facebook?
I would say no.
Especially after election, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So you've got a lot of people are like, I don't want to do Facebook anymore. So what's happening is we call the separation. So not everybody's going to be on Facebook. Not everybody's going to be on TikTok. Not everybody's going to be on Snapchat. This is why I told people in the webinar, I said, you've got to be everywhere. Everywhere. If you're not everywhere, you're going to lose. You've got to be on every platform, every single platform, because if you're trying if you are trying to get this thing going, you're going to have to be in every single platform, because you don't know who could be a customer and where they're going to come from. Not everybody's going to be on Facebook anymore. Not everybody's going to be on Instagram anymore. You've got to diversify. And because of the content that TikTok started to do, it's going to have an increase in influential marketing, like, you know, influencers, but they're not just going to be young people. They are going to mature. Like, you're going to, like, for instance, I wouldn't want some just, 18-year-old girl to be an influencer marketer for Avid Trinity. I just wouldn't. It just doesn't make sense for our company.
Yeah, it just wouldn't be a fit.
Exactly. So, who's going to be the influencer? Well, right now, I'm kind of the influencer.
There you go.
But eventually, it's just a personal brand thing, right? But eventually, I will have some public relations out there, but they're going to be very mature. They're going to be very intelligent. They have to be intelligent because we're experts. If you were selling some sort of brand of makeup and stuff, that's different. But we're talking about marketing here. We're talking about co-working, and we're business to business. So if you're a business to business, you've got to have, and nobody's, the crazy thing is more and more people are buying into the, hey, look at me, I made $1 million. That's just not, it's just like becoming less and less popular because everybody knows it's a show. So influential marketing's become more. It's going to become more mature, meaning, hey, listen, I'm not a millionaire, and it's true. Our company's not a billion-dollar company.
Not yet.
Not yet, right? Not yet. But we deal with billionaires, we deal with millionaires, and I'll tell you right now, they do not go on social media and they do not boast. The real ones do not go on social media to boast. They would like to know that they are not known as millionaires or billionaires, okay? The real successful people are those that are saying, I'm good. I'm okay. And so, brands will lead social media decentralization once again, right? We're not centralizing in one avenue anymore. Because of COVID, because of the separation, and because people are discovering new platforms, we're discovering new ways to market our business. The metaverses will be the next consumer connection. Yeah, we talked about that, right? Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg announced Meta. Ready Player One.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and how that's going to be the new thing. It's coming, so be prepared. I mean, be prepared. Some of us are doing networking. We might be doing networking in this virtual world. Just saying, just letting you guys know. We might not be. You know what? It might not even be like Ready Player One. It might be like Star Wars or like what's that one movie? Avengers.
Oh yeah,
like holograms and stuff. Yeah.
Can you imagine having meetings?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Hey, the future is here, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So you got the last I think this is the biggest thing I was going to talk about is communities that will develop and take control. Yeah, you got to develop a community around your business and brand. And the funny thing about this topic is that this is nothing new. Nothing of this is new at all. Building a community around your brand is something that's just been there. It's just a lot of people aren't doing it. When you build a community, you build promoters around your business. They'll refer you business. They'll get you leads. They'll advocate for you. They'll give you reviews on Google. They'll wear your apparel and be like, yeah, okay. Here's a prime example. I used to work in the gym industry. If you like your gym and you love your gym, you love the people at your gym, you love the staff members, you love the environment, you love the way to do business, guess what you're going to buy?
What?
Guess, if you like the business.
I mean, you're just going to buy anything they put out.
Right. And guess what they're going to put out?
What?
Okay, all right. They're going to put out T-shirts. They're going to put out sweats. They're going to put out shaker cups for that business. And guess what? People are going to buy.
People are going to buy it up, yeah.
Yeah. And when they'll start wearing it, right? So they start wearing it out in public and be like, oh, you go to Fitness Connection. Yeah, I go to Fitness Connection. By the way, that's where I go, Fitness Connection. I hope to see none of you there.
Hashtag ad from Brian.
Yeah, Fitness Connection knows me. But yeah, so like, you go to Fitness Connection or Planet Fitness or 24 Hour Fitness, whatever gym you go to, right? And they're like, yeah, I go to blah, 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 right? And so that's brand awareness. From who? From the consumers.
Oh, yeah.
From the clients. So that's the community that's being built or behind that business. So that's, and a lot of the things that we talked about today, it's just standard. I mean, it's just people should know this, but they're not. And, it's kind of crazy looking around, right? And people are actually walking around and staring at us do this podcast. But it's, and that's a token to this, right? We're the marketing company behind Nouveau Desk. But, when you start to see a business increase and grow because of your marketing efforts, it makes you feel real good. And on top of that, it's just like everything that we're saying, this isn't a myth, right? And we're not sitting here saying, hey, it's going to happen overnight, because it's not. I don't care who you are. If you get something to go instantly, take off instantly, hey, great for you, man. But that's usually not the case. That's usually not the case with a lot of businesses. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of resources. Resources means finance, right? You got to have the financial backing of a business. But, which we'll talk about next podcast. We're going to be talking about business planning, so that's going to be good. But yeah, so if you're thinking about doing social media for 2022, here's my one advice for you guys that are listening: be everywhere, become a strategy, and there's like this thing called 10 by 10 strategy. Is like, if social media is one of your strategies, what are you going to be doing? You have 10 strategies for that, right? If it's Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Twitter ads, LinkedIn ads, YouTube ads. There's always two things to social media. It's organic and paid. And if you're not doing both, then you're not winning. So for all of our clients, when we do Facebook and Instagram or Google My Business, right? So those are like 3 social media platforms. Guess what? All 3 of those platforms have 2 strategies to it: organic and paid. Every single time. Content creation, paid advertising. Every single time. We never have something that's just one size fits all. We're just going to do organic. We're just going to do paid. No, I don't believe in that. And yes, you do need to work on organic, but you still have to get paid advertising because you have to get the new users. You have to be in front of new people that have never heard about your business. And you can do that organically as well, but not as quickly as if you're already in front of them and you're paying to be in front of them. So that's all I got about social media. It's a big topic. But if you're interested in finding out more, we're going to have our webinars. We're having our courses coming out in 2022. That's going to be awesome. And our webinars are going to be free. They're going to be there for you to watch on our website, adventtree.com. So visit us next time. So thank you, Rolando, for being here.
Yeah, man.
And visit us next time. We're going to be talking about business planning and why you need to write down a business plan. Everybody's like, well, I don't know if I should write a business. And some people don't believe in business plans. But the problem is that you have to have it structured for not you, but for everyone. How many people are going to be in your business? What does it look like? Organization, right? And if you don't have that vision and mission, you can't create a culture around your business. So we're going to talk about why business planning is important on the next podcast. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. We want to say thank you to Nuvadesk Co-working and Southwest Restaurant Equipment for being for supporting our Atma podcast. My name is Brian, and we'll see you next time, guys.